10 people walked away with life-changing fortunes, and the government could not force a single one of them to show their face. No press conference, no giant check photo, no neighbors banging on the door at 2 a.m. Just quiet, legal silence. And the wild part is, most winners don't even know this option exists until it's too late. So, before we get into exactly how they pulled it off, let me ask you something. If you won tomorrow, say $50 million, would you want the world to know your name? Or would you want to disappear with the money and keep your life exactly as boring and safe as it was the day before? Type your answer in the comments. I actually read every single one of them. And while you're thinking about that, guess this. Out of the 10 cases I'm about to walk you through, at least one winner almost lost everything because they hesitated for just a few hours. See if you can guess which state, which case, before I get there. And if you've got a friend, a parent, anyone who talks about what I'd do if I won the lottery, send them this video right now. Because half the mistakes people make with sudden money happen before they even collect it, and this could genuinely save someone real financial pain down the road. Quick favor before we dive in. If stories like this, real money, real law, real human behavior under pressure, are your thing, hit that like button and subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel keep making deep dives like this one. And trust me, this list only gets more interesting from here. Let's start in New Hampshire, because this case basically wrote the rulebook everyone after her has quietly copied. January 2018. A woman buys a Powerball ticket at a gas station convenience store. A few days later, she checks the numbers, and she is now holding a ticket worth $559 million, one of the largest jackpots in the game's history at that point. Most people picture instant celebration. She felt something closer to dread. She knew what happened to previous winners who went public. Threats, scammers, long-lost relatives crawling out of the woodwork, strangers showing up at her house. So she did something smart before she did anything else. She signed the back of that ticket using the name of a trust she quickly set up, called the Good Karma Family Trust, instead of her own legal name. Here's the problem. New Hampshire law required the physical winning ticket to be signed, and lottery officials said the trust name wasn't enough. They wanted her real identity on file to validate the claim. So she took the New Hampshire Lottery Commission to court, arguing that once she signed as trustee, her privacy should be protected the same way it would be for any other trust beneficiary. It became a real legal battle, real judge, real filings, real public record, except her name never had to be one of them. In March 2018, a judge ruled she could remain anonymous to the public, though she still had to be verified privately by the state. She got her hundreds of millions, and to this day, most people couldn't tell you her real name if their life depended on it. For nearly 5 months, absolutely nobody knew who held that ticket. No name, no photo, nothing. Rumors floated everywhere. People speculated it might never even get claimed. Then in March 2019, right up against the 180-day deadline South Carolina gives winners to come forward, a claim was finally filed, not by a person, but once again by a trust. The winner was later reported to be a woman in her 30s from the Simpsonville area. And that's genuinely most of what the public still knows to this day. She took the lump sum, roughly $877 million before taxes, walked into a private meeting with lottery officials, and walked back out into total anonymity. If you ask me, that case right there is the cleanest example of why this loophole exists in the first place. It's not about hiding money from the government. Taxes still get paid. Every dollar gets reported. It's about hiding a target from everyone else. Because the moment your face and your fortune get attached to each other publicly, you're not just a private citizen anymore. You're a walking headline. And headlines attract exactly the kind of attention nobody actually wants. Real quick, before I keep going, out of these 2 cases so far, the New Hampshire court battle or the South Carolina billion-dollar mystery winner, which one shocked you more? Drop it in the comments. I want to see which one people find crazier. Let's talk about the actual mechanics a bit deeper, because trusts aren't the only tool in play here. Some winners, particularly in states that don't allow full personal anonymity, use LLCs instead of trusts. The idea is similar, but the structure is built more like a business than a family estate plan. You register a limited liability company, sometimes in a state known for corporate privacy protections like Delaware or Wyoming, and that LLC becomes the legal claimant. The Lottery Commission sees a company name on the paperwork, not a human being. Because LLCs are already a completely normal part of everyday business life, nobody blinks twice at a company name showing up in lottery records, even though behind that company is one person who just won hundreds of millions of dollars. That single case is the reason the trust strategy exploded in popularity. If you win big in a state that allows it, you don't claim the prize as yourself. You form a legal trust, sometimes literally the week before you turn in the ticket. Name the trust as the winner, and let an attorney or trustee interact with the Lottery Commission on your behalf. The lottery pays the trust. The trust is a legal entity, not a human being with a face and a hometown. Reporters can file all the public records requests they want, and all they'll get back is a trust name that sounds like it belongs to a boutique candle company. Now here's the thing people get wrong about trusts. It's not some shady offshore trick. It's the exact same legal structure wealthy families have used for generations to pass down property, businesses, and inheritances quietly. Lottery winners are just borrowing a tool that's been sitting in estate law for decades. An attorney drafts the trust documents, names a trustee who can be the winner themselves acting in that role, or a lawyer standing in as the public-facing name, and the ticket gets signed and claimed under that entity. From that point forward, every official document, every bank transfer, every tax filing routes through the trust's name first. Which brings us to South Carolina, home of one of the biggest anonymous jackpots in American history. October 23, 2018. A single ticket sold at a KC Mart convenience store in the small town of Simpsonville, South Carolina, matches all 6 Mega Millions numbers. The jackpot? $1,537 million. At the time, it was the largest lottery prize ever won by a single ticket on the planet. And South Carolina, unlike most states, actually has a law on the books that lets winners remain completely anonymous, full stop, no lawsuit required. For nearly 5 months, absolutely nobody knew who held that ticket. No name, no photo, nothing. Rumors floated everywhere. People speculated it might never even get claimed. Then in March 2019, right up against the 180-day deadline South Carolina gives winners to come forward, a claim was finally filed, not by a person, but once again by a trust. The winner was later reported to be a woman in her 30s from the Simpsonville area, and that's genuinely most of what the public still knows to this day. She took the lump sum, roughly $877 million before taxes, walked into a private meeting with lottery officials, and walked back out into total anonymity. Still, if you ask me, that case right there is the cleanest example of why this loophole exists in the first place. It's not about hiding money from the government. Taxes still get paid. Every dollar gets reported. It's about hiding a target from everyone else. Because the moment your face and your fortune get attached to each other publicly, you're not just a private citizen anymore. You're a walking headline, and headlines attract exactly the kind of attention nobody actually wants. Real quick, before I keep going, out of these 2 cases so far, the New Hampshire court battle or the South Carolina billion-dollar mystery winner, which one shocked you more? Drop it in the comments. I want to see which one people find crazier. Let's talk about the actual mechanics a bit deeper, because trusts aren't the only tool in play here. Some winners, particularly in states that don't allow full personal anonymity, use LLCs instead of trusts. The idea is similar, but the structure is built more like a business than a family estate plan. You register a limited liability company, sometimes in a state known for corporate privacy protections like Delaware or Wyoming, and that LLC becomes the legal claimant. The Lottery Commission sees a company name on the paperwork, not a human being. Because LLCs are already a completely normal part of everyday business life, Nobody blinks twice at a company name showing up in lottery records, even though behind that company is one person who just won hundreds of millions of dollars. Then there's the residency angle, and this one surprises people the most. You cannot buy a ticket in Massachusetts, where the law forces winners into the public eye, and then suddenly claim residency in a state like Delaware to dodge disclosure. That's not how it works. The claim location is generally tied to where the ticket was purchased and where it's redeemed. But what winners can do, and legally have done, is make sure any trust or LLC involved is established according to the laws of a state that offers privacy protections, and structure future income and residency planning around that, with proper legal guidance, well before the ticket is ever signed. Another quiet strategy: hiring a public-facing representative. This is exactly what happened with several major jackpot winners who technically live in disclosure states. Instead of the actual winner standing at the podium, an attorney or a financial advisor becomes the face of the claim. Reporters get a name, a smiling professional in a suit, someone who's used to cameras and knows exactly what to say and what not to say. The real winner, meanwhile, is sitting somewhere completely unbothered, watching the press conference on the news, like everyone else. Timing is another loophole almost nobody talks about. Most states give winners anywhere from 90 days to a full year to actually come forward and claim a prize. Smart winners use that window aggressively. They don't rush to the lottery office the next morning. They spend those first weeks doing exactly what that South Carolina winner did, quietly hiring an estate attorney, a tax specialist, and a financial planner, setting up the trust or LLC, opening new accounts, and building the entire privacy structure before a single official document ever gets filed with their name or the entity's name attached to the winnings. Lump sum versus annuity payments plays into this too. Winners who take the annuity option get paid over 29 years, which means their name or their trust's name technically stays connected to an active, ongoing lottery payout for decades. Most winners aiming for privacy choose the lump sum instead. Take the reduced upfront amount, close that chapter with the Lottery Commission as fast as possible, and move all future financial activity into private accounts and investment vehicles where lottery officials no longer have any reason to be involved. There's also the quiet power of non-disclosure agreements. Once a winner sets up their team, attorney, accountant, financial advisor, sometimes even close family members who are read into the situation, many winners have those people sign confidentiality agreements. It sounds intense, but think about it from their side. The moment even one person close to them slips up at a dinner party, the secret is out forever. A signed NDA turns a moral obligation into a legal one. And here's a structural trick a lot of estate attorneys use: layering. Instead of one single trust holding everything, winners sometimes create multiple trusts, one that receives the initial lottery payout and separate trusts underneath it that handle specific assets, real estate, investment accounts, charitable giving. Each layer adds another wall of legal separation between the original winning ticket and the winner's actual day-to-day identity. It's the same layering technique estate lawyers use for ultra-wealthy families who've never touched a lottery ticket in their life. Now let's talk about what happens when someone does not use any of these protections, because this is where the story turns from clever legal strategy into genuine tragedy. West Virginia, Christmas week 2002. A construction company owner named Jack Whitaker wins a Powerball jackpot worth $314.9 million. At the time, the largest single-ticket jackpot in U.S. history. West Virginia law required full public disclosure. No trust option, no anonymity, nothing. His name, his face, his hometown, all over national news within days. What followed over the next several years reads like a warning label for every future winner. He was robbed multiple times, once while sleeping in his own vehicle, with hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash stolen right out from under him. Strangers showed up at his home constantly. He faced a wave of lawsuits. His family went through devastating personal loss in the years that followed his win. He later said publicly that he wished he had never turned in that ticket at all. That case is basically the entire reason anonymity laws started spreading state to state in the first place. Lawmakers looked at what happened to Whitaker and to other public winners like him and realized sudden forced publicity doesn't just cost winners their privacy. It can genuinely put their safety and their family's safety at risk. Compare that to the South Carolina billion-dollar winner, who to this day walks through a grocery store without a single stranger knowing she could buy the entire store outright. Same life-changing amount of money, completely different outcome. And the only real difference was legal structure and state law. Here's my honest take on all of this. People assume these loopholes exist to help the rich get richer or dodge responsibility somehow. That's not really what's happening here. Every dollar still gets taxed exactly the same whether you claim as yourself or as a trust. What these strategies actually protect is something money can't buy back once it's gone. Your safety, your relationships, your ability to walk down a normal street without becoming a target. If you ever find yourself in this position, and statistically it's a longer shot than getting struck by lightning twice, but if you ever are, the single most important thing you can do is stay quiet, get a real estate attorney before you sign anything, and move slowly. The lottery isn't going anywhere in those first 90 days. Your old life might be if you move too fast. So, here's the real lesson buried inside all 10 of these cases. It was never really about beating the system or finding some secret cheat code most people don't know about. It was about understanding that money changes how the entire world treats you the second people know you have it. And the smartest winners figured out how to keep that knowledge contained to as few people as possible for as long as legally possible. So I'll leave you with this question, and I genuinely want to know. If you were sitting on a life-changing jackpot tonight, would you go the anonymous route, like South Carolina's mystery winner? Or would you rather be public about it, like Jack Whitaker was? Drop your answer below. I'm curious how split this comment section ends up being. And if this video actually taught you something you didn't know before, do me a favor. Hit like, share it with that one friend who always jokes about winning the lottery, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Because there are plenty more stories exactly like this one still coming.